it's another wonderful opportunity again from the KDRTV studios. We have another wonderful guest today, Bwana Peter Mugeni from the HFC group. I'm not really going to introduce him right now. He'll have a specific time whereby he'll introduce himself to our viewers. And again, we're also having Dr. Robert Shuri, a wonderful gentleman. We've really worked with him for several years, from the president of One Voice Consortium. So I'll also give Dr. Shuri an opportunity to introduce himself. So let me bring them on the screen right now, and let's start the interview. Welcome to the screen, Dr. Shuri and Bwana Peter Mugeni.
Thank you. Thank you, Engineer Kibwato.
Thank you so much. So let me start, before we introduce the guest, let's introduce Dr. Robert Shuri. So Dr. Robert Shuri, it's your opportunity to introduce yourself to our viewers today. Though most of our viewers know you, but it's another opportunity. Again, maybe there's other newer viewers. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you. Thank you, Engineer Kibwato and KDRTV. My name is Robert Shuri, President and CEO of One Voice Consortium, which is an umbrella organization that brings together well over 60 others in the diaspora. And we are in that space where we support our organizations and support our diasporans in matters engagement, in matters to do with various sectors like education, agriculture, finance, business, technology, governance, culture, sports. We are almost in every human endeavor. You'll be able to find One Voice Consortium. Our work is to make sure that we bring to you organizations that we are vetted very well to work with us here in the diaspora. And we are thankful for KDRTV, which has partnered with us so that we can be able to ensure that those people we bring to the diaspora are people that are well vetted. We have done our due diligence. We have seen how they have supported others, and the people of track record. So we are thankful for that. And I'm based in Columbus, Ohio, where I run and manage the One Voice Consortium together with the Food Security Consortium, which is another big diaspora organization that is linking people in terms of agriculture, real estate, and agro-processing areas. We are very much alive in several continents, in Europe, in Asia, in the Middle East, and in North and Central and South America. We have membership and affiliates in all those areas. So we are thankful, and we would like you to welcome also our chief guest today, Mr. Peter Mugeni of HF Group. Thank you, Engineer.
Thank you so much. So, Bwana Peter Mugeni, please, it's a pleasure again meeting you. So let's introduce you to our viewers, and it's you to make a maiden introduction. Go ahead, Brother Mugeni. Oh, what happened with our brother? He logged out. Okay. Maybe he's having some issues with the internet there. So, Daktari, we will bring you again on board so that you can continue as we wait Bwana Mugeni to come. Yep, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay. Again, thank you, Engineer, for that. We will continue to partner with KDRTV on many segments. We, as One Voice Consortium, truly appreciate the diaspora that is engaged, the diaspora that is looking at how it can support Kenya in various ways. So we continue to see how that can work. And with the support of various leaders in various sectors, we've been able to achieve many things. So I think I want to support this engagement with the HF Group, because it's going to give us some continued.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shuri. As we await for Bwana Mugeni to come to log in again, a few questions for you. How have you really managed to coordinate all these wonderful and so many groups together to ensure Kenyans can really, and all East Africans can really engage in the global stage?
Yeah, thank you, engineer, for that question. As perhaps you already know, and the viewers know, One Voice Consortium started way back in 2018, and this is the time that we realized that there are many issues here in the diaspora, but there is no one organization that is able to be able to address all these issues that are here. So we decided as a small group to form the One Voice Consortium so that we can address cross-cutting issues that are there in the diaspora. Our main focus then and now was to ensure that our various members are engaged in matters to do with education, in matters to do with business, in matters to do with the technology, in matters to do with agriculture, and these are things that are important to our host countries and our host nation, Kenya, and others in the African continent. So we thought this is a very good way to bring people together so that we can, continue to develop our countries and our continent in a big way. So from that time, One Voice Consortium has been engaging the diaspora as far as working with the people in various countries. And up to now, we have several projects in Kenya and also a few in other countries. We are also joined by another big organization called Africa Organization of Technology in Agriculture, AOTA, that is planning a conference next year in South Africa. They have already had a conference in Rwanda. And this year we had a virtual conference in Nairobi, Kenya for IBMA. So again, these partnerships are helping us to bring meaningful engagements all around Africa to support our people in various forums.
Thank you so much, Daktari. So our guest is back. So let's bring him on board. Sometimes we have technical issues, so no big deal, Bwana Mugeni. So please, it's your time to make your maiden introduction. Go ahead, Bwana Mugeni. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Engineer Kebato, and thank you, Dr. Chiuri. My name is Peter Mugeni. I'm the Managing Director of HFC. HFC is the banking subsidiary of HF Group. HF Group is listed on the Nairobi Securities Exchange, and HFC is regulated by the Central Bank of Kenya. I'm excited by this opportunity to be able to present to the audience and to talk in matters to do with diaspora, how we collaborate and how we partner, as well as what is our value proposition to the diaspora. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bwana Peter Mugeni. So before I let Bwana Shuri go, I would love you to give us a brief intro on how One Voice Consortium brought so many people together. How did you start it? How did you manage to ensure that people can really interact using One Voice Consortium from different parts of the world? I'm talking about people from East Africa. Now you are extending to South Africa, West Africa, and also from Nigeria. I've had people praising One Voice Consortium, especially when we were in Washington, D.C. We had also people from Nigeria. So go ahead, Dr. Shuri, before we start asking Brother Mugeni a few more questions.
Thank you, Engineer. Thank you, Engineer. I think One Voice Consortium tapped onto a need that has been there of trying to engage the diaspora with our host continent, Africa. And we saw opportunities that are there because, as you know, the diaspora has various resources, financial, skills, human resource, and so forth. And we felt that there are so many things that are here in the diaspora that we can be able to impact back home. And we noted also there are issues that no one organization can be able to handle. So we felt that an umbrella organization might come in handy so that all these organizations can pool their resources into One Voice Consortium, whether it is in terms of advocacy, whether it is in terms of lobbying, whether it is in terms of skills and knowledge transfer. and whether it is even in terms of financial resources, in terms of supporting our people back home. So we tapped into that need, and from that realization, we have seen now engagement with other countries, not just the ones in East Africa, because we started with the ones that are around our region of East Africa, but now we are progressively moving east, west, south, and north. So this has endeared us to many organizations as we work together, and not even organizations that are in the non-profit sector, but even private sector organizations like the HF group that we are about to introduce now, because our members need real estate, our members need to invest in housing, and they need finance, and that's why organizations like HF group became in handy, because they can be able to support our members. And through that, we do our due diligence, because as you know, there are many organizations that come to the diaspora, but we want to make sure that those that are coming, we have already given them some due diligence, some vetting, and we know that there are people who will be able to offer the correct service to our people. So I hope that is a little intro on that, Engineer.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shiori, for tuning in, and thank you so much again for at least giving us a snippet on what One Voice Consortium actually does. So now let's focus on Bwana Mogeni. So our first question, Brother Mogeni, is, can you tell us a little bit more about HFC? HFC Group, your mission, your vision, and then what you have really done, especially in Kenya or across East Africa. But let's first of all tell us what is HF Group? Go ahead, Bwana Mogeni.
Thank you, Engineer Kebwato. HF Group was previously known as Housing Finance Company of Kenya Limited, was established in 1965 as one of the indigenous institutions owned then by the government of Kenya and the Commonwealth Development Corporation. The company has therefore been around for 60 years. The company is listed on the Nairobi Securities Exchange since 1992. Our purpose is enriching lives. We enrich lives through many ways, through property, through home ownership, but we also enrich lives through supporting businesses that are established, particularly in the small and medium enterprise sector. We also enrich lives by providing insurance solutions, and we enrich lives through providing property solutions. We are owned by shareholders, individual shareholders, about 27,000 of us who are retail shareholders, but 41% of the group is owned by Britam, which is also, for those who remember, was previously known as British American Insurance Company. Britam itself is also listed on the Nairobi Securities Exchange. 10% of the company is owned by Government of Kenya and the National Social Security Fund, NSSF, and then the remaining one is widely held. Since 1965, we have enabled Kenyans to own their own homes, but we have also enabled Kenyans to pursue other economic activities, including establishing their own businesses. Today, we support also institutions that are seeking to grow their enterprises, such as savings and cooperative credit societies. We also bank government through our institutional banking proposition. We also have a financial institutions angle. We have a commercial banking proposition, and many others. So beyond just your individual home ownership journey, we can partner with you along that route. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Bwana Mogeni, for that wonderful introduction. So the diaspora really needs to know, why are you coming to the diaspora? Because you should be helping people build homes back in Africa. Why are you coming? Why are you venturing to the diaspora? Right now, we've seen so many other companies, by the way, come to diaspora. They are selling off-plan housing or apartments and all that. We've not seen HF Group. So why are you late? And you guys started back in 1965. And what do you think the diaspora can bring on the table? Go ahead, Bwana Mogeni.
Thank you, Engineer Kebato. We've actually had the diaspora has been part of HF, and HF has been in the diaspora for a long time. So um, we are probably getting introduced to your membership today through OVC. But just that last week and 2 weeks ago, we were actually in the US and in the UK, providing solutions to our diaspora clients there. We've got about 5,000 clients outside in the diaspora, 3,000 of whom are in the UK and 2,000 of who are in other places. Why HF and why now in the diaspora? We do believe that whatever our solution, our solutions offer, aligns to the vision and the needs of the diaspora, of the Kenyans in the diaspora. For instance, we know that wealth creation and investments are an inherent need. HF Group, by virtue of its heritage in property, but also through this expanded offering, is providing an opportunity for the diaspora to use a trusted brand that is not only licensed but regulated both by the Capital Markets Authority but also by the Central Bank of Kenya to offer that channel through which anybody in the diaspora today seeking to invest back home can be sure that their investment is safe and sound. And in so doing, we offer, for example, verified properties that we have gone using our knowledge and experience, gone all the way. As you remember, those who remember recently, there was a Supreme Court ruling that said that when you're buying a property, you ought to have done your homework all the way to the green card. We do that for you because we've been doing that for 60 years. Alongside that, we offer banking solutions and investment products that are also regulated by the Central Bank of Kenya. Alongside that, we offer insurance solutions. So we then, as an entity, will be able to provide the diaspora clients with an end-to-end solution that covers their property needs, their banking needs, their insurance needs, all under one roof. The other thing is that we do recognize that people in the diaspora are quite busy and they spend a lot of their time uh, in value adding activities, but also creating wealth for the future. So we promise to take care of that wealth that they have created in a manner that suits their needs, both in terms of what their instructions look like, but also applying our own expertise, providing advisory services in terms of what is the most relevant investment vehicle and channel. We do have a custody services unit also, which also helps in things like bond trading, government securities investments, and many other needs that would be able to suit those that are in the diaspora that are not able to do these things individually, but who have also, as a result, trusted people that have not been exactly trustworthy.
Thank you so much, my brother. There's a question here about oversubscription right. So can you really explain, because sometimes back you had an oversubscribed rights issue. What did that say about HF Group, and what are your plans moving forward into the future?
So HF Group's aspirations in the next 10 years to become a big player in this market. So we aim to be number one in the Kenyan banking sector and also in the financial services sector. Alongside that journey, we went back to the markets to ask our shareholders to support our growth aspirations. So over the last 4 years, on a compounded annual growth rate, we've been growing around 20-25%. And so we needed then to raise additional capital to support that growth ambition. But also, as you may be aware, Central Bank has actually issued new capital regulations that require that banking concerns have a minimum of 10 billion in core capital by 2029. So HF then, anticipating that journey, went back to the shareholders and asked for shareholder support, and the shareholders overwhelmingly did so. That includes the anchor shareholder, who is Britam, who took up all their rights and actually had asked for more in terms of the green shoe option. But also, we had a huge vote of confidence from the retail market. So the retail shareholders equally took up their stake. So today, where HF Group is, we are more than adequately capitalized, with a core capital in excess of 9 billion and total capital in excess of 10 billion, therefore meeting all the regulatory requirements, but also positioning us for the growth aspirations that we have going into the future.
Thank you so much. My brother, now I really want you to specifically tell the diaspora or the viewers uh, what products do you really offer? I mean, I just want you to list them and be very specific on the products you can offer to diaspora. I know you really stated clearly that you are, I mean, earlier on you are the Housing Finance Corporation of Kenya, whereby, you know, people came and bought houses. We know that is a long history, but right now, what, I mean, is the diaspora coming to buy you, I mean, from you a house, or you finance a house? So please, can you clarify on that?
Thank you, Engineer Kebato. So let me start with our heritage. Our heritage is housing finance company, and we still offer housing finance. So from the diaspora, you can actually come to HFC if you are seeking to acquire a house, whether you have identified that house or not. If you haven't identified the house, we will help you identify the house. We will then take you through the process, the legal process that is necessary for you to acquire a house. And we will also finance the actual acquisition of the house. If you already own a property and you are looking for how to manage that property, that's the second solution we offer. HF Group will be able to help you manage that property through offering you a rental proposition. The third solution we offer is what we call our landowner wealth management solution. In this solution for the diaspora, some of the diaspora communities that own huge tracts of land and are seeking to convert this land into liquidity, that liquidity, given our experience and expertise in selling land historically, will be able to assist you with the processes at the lands registry, the processes at the county, the processes that involve conversion of that into individual titles, and the processes of sale of that title, converting whatever is an illiquid asset into cash. The fourth one is helping you to invest that cash itself. So HF itself has in-house banking solutions and products which are investment based. We have, for example, the housing development bond product, which comes at an attractive withholding tax. Normally, interest on savings products in Kenya attract withholding tax of 15%. When you invest with us in that particular product, the withholding tax is 10%, therefore saving you withholding tax. There are several other savings products. We have an equivalent of a money market fund that we call the Fanaka savings product that enables you to compound your returns on a monthly basis. The fifth solution that we offer you is investment advice insofar as investing in government securities and other corporate bonds on the Nairobi Securities Exchange are concerned. We will be able to provide you with advisory on when to buy, when to sell, the direction of interest rates at a point in time, so that you are making informed decisions. The sixth area in which we'll be able to support you is custody. Custody, the way it operates is that it executes instructions on behalf of clients, whether you are buying bonds or euro bonds or other investments, and you need a vehicle, and we are regulated in that sense by the Retirement Benefits Authority, but also regulated by the Capital Markets Authority. So we will be able to enable you execute instructions for investment in bonds and corporate bonds and treasury bonds. That same unit also offers retirement benefit schemes that are able to support businesses that are establishing here and abroad. Then we have other banking solutions for people that are seeking to establish small businesses in Kenya. Those range from advisory services in terms of which sectors that make economic sense to being able to offer financing also for those businesses in Kenya. The seventh way in which we support you is offering insurance, and that insurance covers both home life insurance for the person abroad, but also for their parents and the communities here in Kenya that they would like to support. It offers medical insurance for the people that need to be supported again here at home. So rather than send money just individual to individuals and hope that they're actually enjoying that benefit, we'll be able to structure a package that supports that individual and ensures that the beneficiary actually does get the solution that is required, therefore giving the peace of mind. We also offer repatriation cover for individuals that are abroad, and we offer some other solutions that are linked to personal accident, etc. Those are some of the areas in which we are able to support the diaspora banking needs, and also the diaspora investment needs, and also the diaspora property needs.
Thank you so much for that wonderful explanation, my brother. So again, what sectors beyond real estate, agriculture, and infrastructure do you see as ripe for diaspora-driven transformation in Kenya? But before you answer that particular question, there's a question here from a gentleman calling himself Ojuang from Indiana. Ojuang is asking, I mean, what interest rates, before we go there, what interest rates do you give especially to people who are buying a house or who are buying land? And I mean, can you tell us what are the interest rates? Well, this is very critical to so many people, especially in the diaspora. Go ahead, Bonaboge.
I'll be giving indicative rates here because, as you know, we have a risk-based pricing model in Kenya, but also it depends on whether one is borrowing in foreign currency or local currency. But our rates, depending on whether you're in foreign currency terms, our rates range from 9% to 12% per annum. In local currency terms, depending on whether you are buying an affordable unit. So in Kenya, we have what we call the affordable housing units, for which we are actually a distributor, and we are also a selling agent. We do not construct the units, but we do have a mandate from the State Department for Housing and Urban Development and the Affordable Housing Board to sell those houses. But even whether you are buying from the state or you are buying from an individual developer, if you are buying a unit of up to 10 million for your own occupation or for your family's occupation in Kenya, we are able to offer you an interest rate of 9.5% per annum fixed in Kenya shilling terms for a period of up to 20 years. If you are borrowing to buy an investment property, that interest rate will range between 13 to 15% per annum. So it's a full range depending on how we assess your credit profile and whether you are borrowing in domestic currency or you are borrowing in foreign currency. We offer solutions for borrowing in both, and we offer up to 6 currencies in which you can borrow. That is the USD, the GBP, the Canadian dollar, the Australian dollar, and a range of those currencies. Obviously, the British pound, the euro. So depending on which you are comfortable with in terms of your income profile, we should be able to match the lending need to that currency, and the interest on which you pay will be dependent on that.
Thank you. So before we leave that particular interest, sometimes someone can decide to have the 20-year, let's call it a mortgage, but he pays a little bit earlier, or he actually does it in the next 5 or whatever, call it 10 years, or have the term period. Do you give some incentives, or do you reduce it, or the way, how you capped it? That is how it's supposed to be. Can you explain a little bit more?
Because we appreciate that property ownership is actually part of wealth creation, and particularly the intergenerational wealth transfer, we actually encourage people to prepay their loans. And on average, whilst we lend for between 15 and 20 years, on average, our loans stay on book for between 7 and 9 years. Now, how we incentivize you is that we do not penalize you for prepaying the loan. As you know, some lenders will have calculated the interest and said, okay, I needed to earn on this loan for 15 or for 20 years, therefore you are coming and paying me in advance. We don't penalize you at all for prepaying. And in fact, if you're buying a secondary property, we know that is new business to us, but also we know that you are now generating income from this new property. So our intention is to support you, not to penalize you for doing so.
That is a wonderful one. Because most people say, oh, you go there, they tell you, okay, if you took for 20 years, we had blah, blah, blah. You really elaborated it so well so that the diaspora can really make a determination or a decision based on what you really told them. So the diaspora, if you pay earlier, no penalization. So go ahead and get loans from HFC Group. So tell us, what are the steps for someone to take a loan? I mean, what do you need? And give us a brief a brief summary on what needs, all the steps which needs to be taken for one to get a loan from you guys.
Okay, thank you, Engineer Kibato, for that question. So I did mention earlier that people who are looking to buy property would either have identified the property, or they may not have. So if you have identified a property, then that is very good. So we would require proof of purchase. So you need to have a sale agreement, and then from there on, we will assess depending on what you are seeking to borrow. We expect that your contribution to that purchase will be at least 10%. Normally, property sellers would expect that anyway. Then we would assess your ability based on your income details. Now, we do consider both employed borrowers as well as self-employed borrowers, and income details can be verified through either pay stubs or may be considered through an analysis of your bank statements. Once you've determined what your loan eligibility is, which is something we do and advise you within a day, you can then proceed and apply for the facility. We'll give you a formal offer. There's a requirement in Kenya by law that you need to have a contract. So you'll have an offer and an acceptance of that facility agreement. After that, we will recommend a panel of lawyers. We work with lawyers that have been vetted and completely trustworthy that will undertake the documentation. That documentation includes facilitating the transfer to yourself as well as simultaneously registering a charge. I just want to emphasize that if you're in the diaspora and you left a while back, the process of registering of title in Nairobi especially has gone online. So there's a requirement that you would be required to update your details on RD Sasa. There's a platform called RD Sasa, and that similarly applies to the seller, so that that process will happen on the system. So we'll advise you through that process as well. Our lawyers would handle that process of registration of transfer and charge. And once that process has been completed, we then pay the seller the balance of purchase price. Typically, we would have given them an undertaking that we are financing you so that the seller is not putting you under pressure to pay the balance of purchase price. And just from a personal perspective, I typically encourage people to go through a banking institution when buying property, just by virtue of the rigor that a bank applies to it, because that's going to be our collateral. And like I mentioned, with our 60 years experience, we go beyond merely just doing a search to going to unravel what else could have happened in that title. Is the title genuine? So when you're buying through us, you have that assurance. Now, we have people that also want to build. So not everybody wants to buy a complete property. Now, our sister company, HFDI, has got a range of plots that they have already gone through a process of verifying, identifying the land, going through the infrastructure development for the land. So they are called serviced plots. Those plots are also available for sale. So we can take you through that process of buying that plot. And again, the bank will be available to finance the process of either buying the plot itself as well as the process of construction. Now, if you are seeking to construct, we would then recommend some people to yourself, or you may have identified a contractor, but we will work with you to ensure that you're not just releasing money to the contractor while your property is not being constructed. So we'll supervise that and make sure that money is only released in stages, so that you are creating value for whatever monies you have paid. And at the very end, you end up with a complete property unit, which we could either charge, or you may have been able to pay for it by that very end of the process.
Thank you so much. Before
we also ensure that the
yeah,
property is insured and that your life is insured as well, so that in case anything happens to the property, then you get compensated. And we, through our bank assurance intermediary, we provide you with life insurance, so that, God forbid, if something were to happen, either you get permanent disability, or in the unlikely event that you lose your life, then your estate or your beneficiaries do not lose the access to the asset.
Thank you so much, my brother. So before I let you, not really let you go, because we are still having a couple of questions to ask. So tell us, how do you, how do someone from the, from the diaspora contact you? Can you tell us exactly how they can reach you? You know, we are on air right now, but how do we, what are the steps of someone reaching you?
Yeah, we do have an email address, diaspora@hfgroup.co.ke, so they can reach out through that email address. But we're also going to provide the contact details before the end of this call, so that those contact details can be availed and you can continue to circulate those.
Thank you so much, my brother. So the other, now let's go back to my earlier question. What sectors beyond real estate, agriculture, and infrastructure do you see as ripe for the diaspora-driven transformation in Kenya? You know, the government is really pro-diaspora nowadays. They are here all the time telling diaspora to send money to Kenya. So, but you as an expert, a financial expert, I believe that. Which sectors do you believe the diaspora also should look into, and what advice do you really give the diaspora in in a way, a good way of transforming Kenya into a wonderful wealth creation country?
Thank you, Engineer Kebato, for that. So we today in Kenya we are going through a digital transformation. So the IT and it's a growing sector. So we value, especially people that have been abroad, that they understand what infrastructure and what technology requirements are required to power growth in those sectors. But it's the same thing in Kenya today. So ICT is a growing sector. Healthcare is a growing sector. As you know, we have got this universal health coverage program, but the government hospitals are not enough. So people who are investing in the health sector, in fact, we normally tell people, I personally tell people, rather than buy a matatu, buy an ambulance. It's a growing sector. Education, Kenyans both here and abroad, I'm sure, value the education. It's probably the biggest single investment other than housing that people make to their children. There is opportunities in both supporting the government's education, competence-based education. There's need for classrooms in that area. Private schools are doing very well, but also the international school education system is doing very well in that sense. Agricultural value chains. So you may not be investing in the actual farming of the produce, but in the value chain, we've got lots of opportunities to aggregate, to consolidate, and to, because of the knowledge of markets wherever you are, if you can create those linkages, that would be very, very, very useful. And it's also a very significant growing sector here in Kenya. In fact, if you look at the GDP growth that has just been for the second quarter, agriculture has remained consistent in terms of its growth potential. I see a lot of opportunity to also invest in other impact sectors like green energy. It's a Kenyans, especially the younger generation and the younger population. There's recent research that was done and that applies across East Africa. Actually, they want to buy from entities that can demonstrate sustainability and impact. Therefore, renewable energy. We have now increasing buyer propensity to buy electric vehicles. We've got increasing propensity for areas like solar and solar water heating. So those areas are growth areas in my view and in our view.
Thank you so much, Bwana Mogeni, for that elaborative explanation and exactly what the diaspora might also venture. You are giving free advice, which is wonderful. You know, some of these advices you are basically giving us here, most people sell them. So that's really wonderful, and we would love you to maybe come again another day and we ask you very specific and pertinent questions which we might not really cover today. And maybe when you come to the Midwest, we would love to encourage you to come to our studio so that at least we can take some tea together, and then we can discuss a little bit more on what packages or what products you really have for the diaspora. But before we let you go, I also want to ask you this particular question here from a gentleman calling himself Baraka. Okay, Mr. Baraka is asking HFC Group, what assurances do you give the diaspora that the product you are selling them is genuine? I believe you have answered this question, but I don't know why maybe Mr. Baraka came a little bit late, but maybe he can get an explanation from you. What assurances? And then the other question is also asking here is about the duration of the process for him to get a property. Hey, Mr. Baraka, you have also added a third question. Do you have properties we can go to your website so that we can choose from, especially people like us from the diaspora, or YouTube videos for them to choose some of the properties you got? So at least let's answer those three questions first. Peter, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, engineer. Yeah, I'm very happy to answer that question. I'm not tired of it. So we, Mr. Baraka, and I understand the emotional part around the trust element. So we, as HF Group, have been around in Kenya for 60 years. For those 60 years, we have fulfilled all our commitments to all the projects that we started. We completed all of them. And to give you a second layer of assurance, we are actually regulated by almost 5 entities. So we are regulated at group level by the Capital Markets Authority, who is the licensor of listed entities. So if you know, and I'm sure you know, the Securities Exchange regulations, they are very, very, very onerous. So we meet those regulations. We have to disclose all our customer engagements. We have to disclose any complaints. We have to report on our performance every quarter, and all of those we have met. So that's our first layer of regulation. The second layer of regulation, if you come to HFC specifically, we are licensed by the Central Bank of Kenya. So if you go to the Central Bank of Kenya website, you'll find that we are a licensed entity there. And for that reason, again, we are very heavily regulated there. So if we were to mislead or make any mistake in that sense, you have recourse. You can actually complain to the Central Bank of Kenya, and we would be liable and penalized. The third layer of regulation is we are regulated by the Insurance Regulatory Authority insofar as our insurance business is concerned. On the property side, we are licensed by the Estate Registration Board, and we are also regulated by the Retirement Benefits Authority as well as the Kenya Deposit Insurance Corporation. So that gives you a fact that we are not dealing with a fly-by-night operation. You're actually dealing with an entity that has been in the market for 60 years and expects to be there for 100 years plus more, and that is completely regulated, so your money is safe and your dealings with us are safe. Now, you ask about the second question was around, yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the second question was around financing. Yeah. So I had earlier indicated that our mortgage products we finance for between 15 and 20 years, depending on the duration and the tenor that the client requires. But you can borrow for less if you require. We don't limit you. If you're able to pay within 1 year, is okay. And even if you take a loan for 15 or 20 years and you are able to put in a lump sum prepayment, we do not penalize you for that. Engineer, if you could just remind me about the third question.
Okay, thank you. The third question, he wanted you to tell him how fast the process takes for him to receive that house. People they want it today. Go ahead.
Yeah, I feel him. I totally understand him.
Yes.
So if you're buying a house that is actually being sold through us or our partners or agents, that process takes a maximum of 90 days. If you're buying a house from any other developer and we are just the financiers, that process could take a little bit longer depending on whether they had already generated titles. So we have today, if you are a developer in Kenya and you're building apartments, you need to prepare something we call sectional titles. That process of preparation of sectional titles could take anywhere between 45 days and 6 months. So for us to then grant the loan would depend on whether that title has been issued. We have granted a loan within 2 weeks, and we've granted a loan within 90 days. So anywhere between that period would be a fair guess.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my brother. So yeah, the other question you also wanted to know is about if you have some properties listed somewhere so that they can choose from the ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That's a good question. So if you go to our website, www.hfgroup.co.ke, you'll find properties there under a tab titled HF Marketplace. So you'll find all our property listing there.
Wonderful.
So it's https://www.hfgroup.co.ke. Then you go to the tab titled Marketplace.
Thank you so much. Yeah, there's another question by Brother Dingo. Brother Dingo wants to know, how do you guys, I mean, the properties in Kenya, unfortunately, the problem is most people just say, I'm selling my house 20 million. I'm selling my house 50 million. I'm selling my house whatever. So how do you ensure that the property's valuation is really is really valued to the minimum, to ensure that whatever I'm buying or whatever is buying is actually, I mean, the value of the property is really real, not just fictional. That is, I believe, that is what is really asking here. Buan Odingo.
Yeah, that's a good question. So we ensure that every individual property that we finance goes through an independent valuation. So we have there's a licensing body for valuers in Kenya. So all valuers that are licensed to do that process, we vet them. And then we have a panel of valuers who would typically be the top-notch valuers in the market that we work with to identify both the property coordinates and location, and also do independent checks around the recent sales within that neighborhood, so that you know that you're actually getting the accurate and correct value. Secondly, we work with licensed realtors and real estate agents like Has Consult that provide property indices. So we purchase that data, and we have a repository of that data, which we then compare whatever values that we have received against that data to give us an indication of the general direction of properties in a particular locality and area. Finally, we've got our own rich database. So obviously, we've been financing properties for 60 years. And so we understand when a property is inflated, and we should be able to alert you to that effect.
Thank you so much, my brother, for that explanation again. So I believe we are almost done, but the other question, no, this is a little bit tricky, but there are some other questions we might actually decide to ask, and some of them we believe might be jokers, so we might not really ask them, but we give every individual an opportunity to ask a question, but there are some questions which I believe are just, let me not say a waste of time, but I think it's not appropriate. Yeah, you know, these people are very credible. Somebody's saying the HFC has not actually done blah blah, but I won't even ask that particular question because I can see that is probably offset. But let me ask this question from this lady here, Lillian. Lillian wants to know the properties which are currently in the market. Do you have specific properties in Nairobi, in Nakuru or Kisumu? And you know, there is this notion that there is, how do I call it? There is affordable housing. How do you ensure that your properties are really well done, or the finishing is really top notch? Because some people claim that some of the properties HFC group did sometimes back are poorly finished and all that. So how do you ensure that when you are doing the finishing for your properties it's actually top notch? And do you have properties right now in Nairobi, Nakuru, or Kisumu? That's why she's interested. That's Lillian.
Okay, yeah, that's a good question, Lillian. I want to say that we are professionals, and we also work with professionals to ensure that whatever commitments we had made and the building specifications were observed. That's the time when we were in the process of building houses and selling houses. We have since stopped that business of building houses, but we work with a range of developers. And again, all those developers that we work with who are our partners are vetted to ensure that the historical experience and the ability to deliver an end product that we are comfortable with is done. Now, if you are buying a property that is under construction, we will only pay for that property once the property has been completed and inspected and an occupation certificate issued by the respective municipality, and also our own inspection team has done so. Now, when it comes to the question around whether do we have any properties that we are selling in Nairobi, Nakuru, Kisumu, Mombasa, so there are two sets of properties that we deal with. There are those that are generated by our own property arm. So I mentioned that we have HFDI, which is HF Development and Investment Corporation. That company deals with property sales. At the moment, they are only selling plots. So those plots are serviced plots in a gated neighborhood with the infrastructure there. So they are ready for you to come and buy and build in. So those plots are also listed on our website and where they are available. Then there's a secondary question that relates to affordable housing. How do we really make sure the property is affordable? I mentioned that we have a collaboration with the State Department for Housing and Urban Development and also the Affordable Housing Board. In that sense, we are selling agents only for those houses. And those houses, the price range has already been determined. So what is considered affordable by the Affordable Housing Board is properties costing up to 3.5 million Kenya shillings. So those properties are available. There are conditions for who is entitled to what, but they are available. And again, when you go to our website, you'll find a listing of those properties. Then we also finance properties that are considered affordable, but you are buying from an individual private developer. Now, we have no control over those developers, and we make it very clear that we are selling agents or financing agents only to that extent. But when you are buying, and I typically encourage that you just check, if you are buying a property from another developer and you come to us for financing, then we will advise you on whether the reputation of that developer makes sense and whether you should proceed with that transaction. If you choose to proceed, then that is entirely at your own risk. But if we are financing, then in certain instances, we're able to tell you for this particular developer, unfortunately, we are not able to finance because of our own experience or our own information or advanced information that has come to our attention. So we will do the part of the due diligence where you are purchasing through us.
Thank you so much, my brother. That is a wonderful explanation. And then, my goodness, the questions are keeping on coming, and we're almost done. But I would love to ask you this question before maybe we give you a minute to drink some water. My brother, you can't talk for over an hour. Okay, this question comes from another gentleman called Oyondi. Oyondi, okay. Mr. Oyondi is, I'm asking this question from Texas. Okay, that's fine. You are in the diaspora. Don't worry, my brother. So Mr. Oyondi wants to know the percentages. Like you say, you are giving a loan for 3.5 million, just a rough number. And then he says that in Kenya, when he went to the bank to service, not really service, but request for a loan, there are some other hidden, he calls them hidden charges. So do you also have hidden charges when you are giving these loans, or everything is actually above board? Are there things which are written in small letters so you can't actually see till you have to take them to a lawyer, and for a lawyer to interpret them for you, you have to part with lots of money? Bwana Mogeni, go ahead.
That's an interesting question. Actually, I would advise Ndoyondi that by law in Kenya today, the idea of small print was done away with. So for us as an institution, we give you what we call a key facts document. Now, that key facts document will itemize all the costs associated with the loan. And typically, there are three minimum ones that you'll face. If you are buying a property, you will need to pay stamp duty. Stamp duty is payable to the government of Kenya and is typically 4% of the value of the property. Then you will need to pay legal fees. because this process is undertaken by a lawyer. And the lawyers in Kenya have what they call the Advocates Remuneration Order. If you Google it, you'll just find it, the Kenyan Advocates Remuneration Order. It will tell you what the transaction charge, which is typically dependent on the value of the transaction is. It's linked, it's a percentage of the property. And then of the property value or of the loan amount. And then there are those that we call monies you pay to the bank, and this is the loan arrangement fees, which is we charge 1.5%, and then you pay the valuation fees, which is also a percentage of the value of the property, typically about 0.25% of the value of the property. Those charges are all disclosed. Once the loan has been granted, I mentioned that you need to arrange. We normally arrange for insurance. That insurance covers the life of the borrower, so that in the event that something happens, the loan is paid off on your behalf, and that is typically about 0.5% of the loan amount annually. And there's the property insurance, which is about 0.125% of the value of the property, and that covers fire and burglary, those risks that could impact the property itself. All those charges will be disclosed to you in a key facts document, which is printed in normal print, even though the offer letter itself has got many other terms and conditions. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you so much, my brother. As I promised, I don't really want you to be talking all. Maybe we'll bring you another time so that we can at least expound more on some of the questions which are being asked today. But we would like to give you an opportunity to have a parting shot or an advice for your friends, especially who are living in the diaspora. So this is your time, Bwana.
Thank you so much, Engineer. I really appreciate this opportunity to be talking directly to our Kenyan and other communities in the diaspora. I want to urge people to invest back home. There are many opportunities both for passive income and investment portfolios that one can do even remotely. I want to say that HF Group is a reliable partner. We are listed on the Nairobi Securities Exchange and licensed by the Central Bank of Kenya. So when you are dealing with us, your investment is safe, your money is also safe, and we commit to exercise due care to you, and also to ensure that whatever investment you are getting into, as well as whatever financing solution you pursue, is done professionally and diligently. I want to also add the point that although there are many players out there, I would encourage that you exercise due diligence, check whichever player you are working with, and ensure that you're only working with reliable partners while making these investment decisions. Those investment partners include the OVC, who we are partnering with, and ourselves. We have done this for many years. We understand this business, and we'll continue to do this for you, our valued customer, and the prospective customer. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity as well, Kenya Diaspora TV, and also to the OVC again, that you enable us to get to this audience. We are available to answer all those other questions which we have not been able to cover here. We are happy to engage directly with the individuals that have asked those questions. And we also are available to come back again and expound on areas that we have not been able to cover in this interview. Asante sana.
So much. Thank you so much, my brother, for having an opportunity to speak to us or talk to the diaspora. So till next time, may God bless you so much, Bwana Mugeni. And now let's focus back on the realities. And the realities will be that we'll get customers, and the customers will come on the table, and then you'll start the negotiations, and you'll start the process one-on-one, so that if anyone has a question, then they can ask those questions on your table. And again, you promise that you are going to give the contact information can you please give us the contact information, or you can repeat that email so that we can share with the diaspora. Go ahead, my brother.
Yes, so I mentioned that you can write to us directly at diaspora@hfgroup.co.ke, diaspora@hfgroup.co.ke. Our contact number, which is our, you can also contact us directly by calling this number, +254 709 438 888, +254 709 438 888. All
Thank
your
you so
queries
much.
will be answered,
Yes.
and you'll be linked to an individual consultant for an individual consultation.
Thank you so much. So I've also brought back Dr. Shuri. Dr. Shuri, if you also have a parting shot, please, this is your time before we call it a day. Go ahead, Dr. Shuri, for 10 seconds, please.
Thank you so much, engineer, and thank you so much, Peter Mugeni from HFC Group, and we are very grateful for that interview. It has we have been watching you and also listening to you, and we are very happy with this collaboration with the One Voice Consortium and FSC Food Security Consortium, because Food Security Consortium is also going to be getting the land in Vipingo, and through our collaboration with you, we'll be able to have many people in the diaspora get loans to acquire and build the land in Vipingo. And so this is going to be a good way in which two organizations are working together to help the diaspora. Again, for those who are listening, we can also contact us if you want to get to HFC. We are readily available through various ways. You can go to our website, www.onevoiceconsortium.org, and you can also be able to see the many activities that we will be doing with the HFC group. But I know there'll be other forums. We'll be inviting other members of HFC group, but we also welcome what Peter has mentioned here. And this month, we'll be having other series of interviews for HFC group members. So with that, I want to thank you, Peter. I want to thank you, engineer, for this interview, and and also the diaspora that has been listening to all this. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that one, Dr. Shuri, Bwana Peter Mugeni, for a wonderful conversation. We'll continue with the conversation another date. So from you, our viewers, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Spread this information. Subscribe if you have not subscribed to KDRTV News. We'll be bringing you more information. We are #1 diaspora credible source information. Linking you to Kenya, linking you to Nigeria, linking you to Africa, linking you to Europe, linking you in America for credible information, for credible sources, for credible money, financial markets, and many more other things. Even politics, it's here, so don't get worried. I mean, don't worry. We'll definitely give you what you really want. This is a one-shop stop for everything. Till next time. Thank you, and may God bless you. But before you go, there's one wonderful partner with the KDRTV News called Lemify. If you want to send money to Kenya, if you want to receive money from Kenya, this is a wonderful partner who can really help you so much get the value for your money. When you send money to Kenya, when you want to pay even for products in the hardware, some people say, oh, my fundis are stealing from me. So just get a quote and pay directly to the hardware, and the product will be delivered to your destination or to your plot. Right now, you've seen we have HFC Group. They are really ready to finance you. They are really ready to help you to walk the journey of owning a property or owning, call it a home. So they are here to help you. So we are having so many partners, and many other partners will be coming on board. But for now, let me tell you that Lemify is the way to go. Thank you, and may God bless you.